wanna do a podcast? We make a darn good team. It always goes without a hitch. Let's head to Twitch and go start up the stream. Do you wanna do a podcast? It's the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Let's start now. Hi everyone and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Come?
Alright, I'll do my own bit for myself.
Oh wait, no silence.
We're doing it.
Get off the road.
Hey Dave. Whoop.
There we go. Okay.
Ta-da! Hey Dave. Hey Boater. I got back into some competitive gaming this week. You know, I normally don't like playing a competitive multiplayer, but I decided to give it a shot this week, and I made sure that I had a couple of sanitation workers on my team. They're used to carrying trash. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. I'm Boater.
I'm Dave Mann.
The previous has been a joke. I'm still not getting into competitive multiplayer, but I am trash at basically any game I try to do so with. So, you know, based in truth.
It's still Pilk Month, if you saw my Funstagram story.
It is.
And so I'm going to be brewing up a Pilk for Steve and I.
50-50, remember.
Would you like to observe and make sure that your apprentice is pilking to your satisfaction? I'm like, okay, is the camera shot wide enough for yes, just a little bit of creepy Steve on the edge. That is creepy though, as I said. I like your new glasses.
Thank you. Excellent form. You always got to take a drink from the bottom of it.
Otherwise, you're just wasting it.
Exactly.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
All right.
Set.
Let me see.
Set.
He needs to inspect the consistency
Yep.
of the danger juice. I'm not so sure about using pilk as a verb. Pilk is a profane word and can and will be used in any sense.
Which you're going to expect both of them. Yes.
Pilk can be an adjective. I don't want to spend too much brain power on how you can use it as a pilking adjective, but oops, just did it. How's the danger juice?
Good.
Passes muster?
Passes muster, passes sight.
All
See
right.
if it passes taste.
That's the one part that I don't like about this whole thing is drinking this actual beverage. Although I've had so many this month. So many. And it's so nice that people are like, by the way, next year you definitely need to put Pilk back on the Play Live thing. And I was like, I don't want to.
I don't want
to.
You stream almost every day of the week, and you're doing a pilk before every stream, and here it is, folks. Because we helped out for the kids. Because of all of you generous donors out there.
Now, Steve, smash them together Stone Cold style and drink them.
Maybe another time. Maybe a St. Jude's instead.
Brew Nerd excited for the pilk. What's up, everybody? Thank you all so much for dropping by.
That mango Pepsi has definitely gone off.
Ooh.
Because where it was like very pleasant the first time I've had this, now it's just like my esophagus is like, no, contract! We can't let this come down!
I don't think that's the Pepsi's fault. I think that the novelty of it got you through the pilk, but now that the mango Pepsi is not a novel part of the equation, it's back to, it's still pilk!
Wait.
That is well and empty, sir. Congratulations.
It did pass the taste test, by the way.
Steve approves of your mixology.
God. Anyway.
Once you have mixed 100 Pilks, you will be an apprentice.
Once I've mixed 100 Pilks, I'm going to look myself really long and hard in the mirror and go, well, that's quite enough of that.
When you do, there's going to be a little overlay on the mirror of just achievement unlocked, Pilk Apprentice. 100 Pilks and counting.
Actually, no, you'd be a Pilk Knight. There we go.
Pilk
A pilk nut.
I was gonna say 100 seems a little steep for apprentice, but who am I to say?
Oh,
The
sweet,
Master
sweet.
Yoda of Pilk.
I return, still concerned. Welcome back, Love Alec. That was a carbonated dairy burp.
So have I? So I'm not granted title of Pilk Master, but am I on the Pilk Council? Or
Take a seat, young
young man. I mean, we're going with the last name here. Have a seat, young man.
so. But this has to be the inverse, because I'm not fighting to get on that council, and I'm definitely not fighting to get my name on the door. Like,
We grant you a seat on this council, but not for the rank of master. And you're like, okay, only one of the two. Good, okay.
I think you have to like it to be on the council. That's entirely fine. I will gladly stand in the background or outside of the door as the Council of
Is that why
Pilk.
the council's filled with mostly older people and me?
Yes, Steve. That's... You know what's even funnier? Every time Steve goes to visit an elder relative at like an old folks home, that's when like suddenly he walks in the room and goes, "Ah, damn it!" Like the chairs are circled up. Like, he's like, "Man, a Pilk Council meeting today. They have a shift in 10 minutes."
Meanwhile, he then comes back and like, I brought something for everybody to drink. Steve, this is a Pilkervention. I need you to sit down.
Dave, don't go down the path of killing Pilklings. Hear that, Steve? Steve, what happened to all the Pepsi and the milk in the fridge? I threw it away! It was coarse and it got everywhere! How many more Star Wars
We're doing
tropes
all
can
of
I
them.
stick into...
Not just the Pepsi, but the Diet Pepsi and the Mango Pepsi, too.
The caffeine-free Pepsis. All of them.
Oh. Your new Pilk Pyre!
This Pilk is the ultimate power in the universe.
Oh my god, we have a new version of the Pants game. Oh, hell. You know about that, right? Where you take any word in a Star Wars code and replace it with the word pants?
The Pilk Wars have.
Luke, help me take these pants off. But you'll die! Nothing can stop that now.
So it's the Pilk game.
Pilk game now.
Any Star Wars quote add Pilk.
We should make a sound that's just us chanting Pilk.
Oh, but then that's taking away from poor Bill Nye. Because it'll have to be Pilk, 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 Pilk.
I mean, you could do so at a different tempo. You know? Pilk! Pilk! I don't know. Or faster. Pilk, 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 pilk. That's harder, though.
Klaxon goes off somewhere. I have to put this milk in the fridge because it has to last me till the end of the month.
We are on the 20th of the month. There is a 1/3 of the month left, including the summer solstice tomorrow, everybody. So enjoy that longest day of the year. There will be Pilk. That is one of the more threatening things that I feel I've said in recent memory. Welcome to the solstice. There shall be Pilk.
Hey, that's not a bad thing.
Am I really? So tomorrow's the summer solstice?
Yes, it is.
I'm streaming Diablo 4 on the summer solstice. That feels like a bad sign of evil to come.
You need to do Pilk, but with strawberry milk. So it's kind of got like the red, kind of like, you know, it's pink,
God,
but
that's
you know.
so perfect, and I have to now. Why didn't you think of that, Master of Pilk?
Because he experiments with flavors on the Pepsi side.
Your seat on the Pilk Council is looking a little suspicious now.
Only the P, not the ilk.
Yes, he experiments with the P. He doth not experiment with the flavor of the ilk.
Our producer Steve, he experiments with the P. Period. Leave it at that.
Yep.
Just a picture of Steve holding a Pilk. I think that sounds terrible. It's gonna be terrible. And if someone reminds me tomorrow before 4 o'clock, I will stop at Stewart's and get a strawberry.
Strawberry milk.
Now too.
What?
They have the orange creamsicle flavored. Or
Don't-
at least the shakes now.
Don't.
can
That's
mix
not
it.
milk. That's a shake.
It's a milk product.
It-
You can mix it.
No, it's called Pilk, not milk product. Pepsi.
It's not shilk, okay? We're not using shake, we're using milk.
Oh God. I can't wait till we talk about what we've been playing recently.
Okay.
I have so much Donin shipping to do. It isn't even funny.
We do have a lot to get through today,
Oh yeah.
including a big announcement, which I guess we'll get to right now. Dave, do you want to take this? Shall I?
I think you should. I think it's
Sure, absolutely. So, we've been doing Nerd Glasses for 3.5 years now. I'm not going to beat around the bush because all of you are perceptive, media literate people. Next week will be the final week of the Nerd Glasses podcast in its current form. It's been an awesome 3.5 years, and just for different reasons, we figured that it's time to move on to new and exciting projects for both of us. We still plan on collaborating. I know that there's going to be a show that takes Nerd Glasses' place, whether it's going to be this exact time slot or just kind of a successor on the channel. But it's for 3.5 weeks of, I don't know if we've missed a single episode when we've been able to rely on guests stepping in for us for one or the other,
Yeah.
or very recently for both of us at once. Let's see. It's been a really cool and awesome time. And yeah, it's as much as we do enjoy it, we also, we like to keep an eye out for what's the next thing that we can do. What's the next kind of exciting thing that we can have a lot of passion for?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to.
Expect to see different and more on Insane Games TV. I'll be meeting with some folks about that, Dan, Steve, to talk about doing another talk program, potentially even under the same Nerd Glasses name and things like that. But we didn't want to have next week come on and be like, it's the last one, and then it'd be like, well, thanks for pantsing us. But
we don't have fully know exactly what's coming next, but can be really exciting. Like when there's something new around the corner. We're still gonna be here, we'll figure out exactly what it looks like, and we'll have more about that next week. But we wanted to kind of say that next week will be the final Nerd Glasses podcast in its current form, whatever that means. So next week I think that we'll be getting all sort of nostalgic and looking back and maybe having some clips of our favorite moments, or just kind of sitting here being like, hey, you remember when that happened? That was wild.
But much like Frieza, this isn't our final form.
Yeah.
You will see us in many different projects and many different endeavors going forward.
Yeah, so that'll be next week. We'll definitely have something. We'll have something cool planned. This you haven't heard The Last of Us. But as for this week, boy, we both have like a full roster of like stories and stuff that we want to get to as well. So, cry not for Nerd Glasses. Nerd Glasses continues. We continue. We are still on our bullshit, and off we. You know who else is back on their bullshit? A streamer getting banned.
Oh, and who was naughty on the wonderful purple platform that we stream on?
It's not banned from Twitch. Somebody managed to get banned from Kick.
What's Kick again? I'm sorry, I keep blanking on that.
Kick is a a streaming platform.
Oh, okay.
Funded by crypto bros and gambling houses, that's set up as an alternative to Twitch. And in the meantime, we've seen a lot of people going to Kick, and we've actually got some stories on that later in the show as well. When when Twitch has been kind of shooting its own foot a lot recently, people keep bringing up Kick as a place to go to. But I always look at it and I say they will let almost anything happen on the platform, including stuff that I personally find morally icky. But they still have their lines that shall not be crossed. And one of those is that the Kick streamer Rhino was banned from Kick for sending inappropriate messages to a minor on Twitter. And when the user came forward, Kick was pretty swift to say, no, you're done. I don't know if it's a permanent one. I don't know if it's...
I hope it's permanent.
I believe so.
I hope it's permanent, but they're crypto bros. They have no foibles, so that's disgusting.
Yeah, it's... like, congratulations. The platform with incredibly loose moral scruples still looked at you, Rhino, and said, nah. Come on.
Ugh. That's gross.
And it's interesting. Like, Kick is basically running on, we're going to throw a lot of money at people to get them to come to our platform, which is exactly what
Mixer did.
It's exactly what Mixer did.
Oh my god.
And Mixer failed because they couldn't get that critical mass of people moving over. Sure, people are going to move over if you offer them millions of dollars for, to hit certain things. Do we want to talk about some of those now or throw them off until later while we're on the topic of Kick?
Either or.
Yeah, just really quick, like, XQC signed on to Kick for $100 million.
Oh, what an asshole.
If he hits certain, like, milestones, whatever.
Great.
Ugh.
I can't believe that fuck still gets a paycheck. Ugh.
Well, I don't know if you wanted me to come in on this part.
No, that's fine, Steve.
What are you laughing as you push your way in?
What did the creeping Steve coming in now? Hello.
XQC already got yelled at by Kick for live streaming illegally the Dark Knight movie. The first one from 2008. No, it was the 2008 Dark Knight movie.
Okay.
And
so in other words, he showed up to the platform and immediately said, let me see what I can get away with.
Yeah.
And
a Kick staff member sent him a message like, hey, don't do that. It's against our very, very loose guidelines.
Yeah.
And they were like, makes sense. GG. Turn off the stream.
Interesting that it wasn't an immediate kick. It wasn't an immediate ban. Nope. It was a message and a, hey, stop it. Yeah. Which I like that approach. That approach most definitely won't scale up as the platform grows. Like, if they get the, millions of streamers. That just
feels like a no-duh thing.
Yeah.
How can you have someone on your platform streaming something that goes against the DMCA and then being surprised that you can't do it? Like,
yeah. Well, it's very clearly he knew that he wouldn't be able to get away with it on Twitch, and as much as, there's a terms of use out there, he wanted to see if he was special enough to get away with it. And the answer is no, but he didn't get banned immediately, so he was still handled with the kid gloves.
Fucking gross. You should ban him just for being him.
Yes.
Fuck XQC.
And then make sure that $100 million check bounces. Ugh. Like I'm about to buy.
All right, bye, Steve. Yeah, like his appearance, honestly, I'm surprised it took him so long to go to Kick, because he was one of the big names when Twitch had to ban gambling last year.
Yes.
Dude has an outright gambling addiction, and he's been open about that, and he was streaming while gambling and, like, losing money, unless he was sponsored, in which case he was doing a lot better than the usual odds would recommend, tricking viewers, and Twitch banned gambling. Kick is backed by gambling, like, casino houses and stuff. How it took this long for him to go to that is an utter mystery to me. I also have that Amaranth also joined Kick for an undisclosed amount, but it's not an exclusivity thing. She also streams on Twitch and YouTube, and she's actually really good at, like, diversifying where her money comes from, so I almost feel like she'd be like, yeah, sure, we'll fleece these assholes for a few million while we're at it.
I feel like I should know the name Amaranth, and I just don't.
Amaranth was one of the big names when the hot tub streaming meta was controversial.
Huh?
She was also like turning the ASMR streaming into like, well, you're making that super sexual. Like, could you stop, please? She's been temporarily banned a whole bunch of times from Twitch. Very controversial streamer. Sometimes deserved, sometimes not. Where to go? If you want the spell and look it up. But yeah, that 100 mil also rumored to be some kind of ownership stake too. Interesting. Referring to XQC.
Great. That's who you need on your ownership board.
Google lists XQC as a former internet celebrity. Oh. Anyway, rather than a Twitch ban, you got a whole bunch of Kick news up front, and now we don't have to talk about that platform anymore for the rest of the show. That makes me happy, actually, not to have to circle back to that.
Ugh. Fuck you, Kick. We're over it.
Shall we cleanse our palate with some awesome stuff to look forward to in the next 7 days?
Oh, I would love to. So I picked out 3. As always, there's so many games coming out. There's so many things doing on. And these 3 are particularly interesting, one of which we've actually already talked about on the program because it's a remaster of a release. Ooh. But starting on the 20th, presented in crystal 14 million carat K Nerd Vision. Thank you, Steve, for doing the jazz fingers as well. I don't know who Aiden Ross is either, and I'm glad I don't know who that is.
We did all that, but it didn't actually go to Nerd Vision.
I didn't click it yet.
Oh, sorry. I need more spirit fingers.
On the 20th, for PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series S, that's right, check your watches. It's today! You can play Crash Team Rumble.
Ooh.
It is from our friends at Toys for Bob. They handled the 2018 Crash Insane Trilogy and all the Crash releases since then.
Okay.
And this is an online multiplayer battle game where you have to collect more Wampa fruit than the other team to win. Playing as so many of your favorites from all of the Crash games, if you recognize them. If you haven't played the Crash games, this is not a bad place to get into it because it looks like they really did take advantage of having the characters and using their different personalities and how they interact together.
Okay.
But yeah, if it's the sort of thing for you, it's going to be your sort of thing. But this game's been rumored, it's been talked about, and now it is finally here. Not necessarily my cup of tea for Crash Bandicoot, but it looks like it could have a lot of fun. And if you're sick of getting hosed in Splatoon, then this could be the game you move over to.
Yeah, it's definitely one worth trying out. Is it so some of the sorry, let me try those words again. What's the price on it? Like, is it one of those like really cheap free to play but supported by Battle Pass and stuff? Or
how much is Crash Team Rumble?
$39.99. The producer says. And we're double checking apparently, but yeah,
just for giggles.
Oh yeah, but it's probably
something went wrong. Best Buy doesn't know.
But it also mentions seasonal content, so we'll see if there's like battle passes on top of that, or how they handle it.
There almost has to be.
Yeah. Not that sort of monetization on itself is not super interesting to me, but I guess I'll double check that. I will look that up. I'm supposing. I'm not confirming. I'll double check and see if that works. But
excellent. And so
it
moving
looks awesome.
Right on to a PlayStation 5 exclusive. It is Final Fantasy 16 coming out on the 22nd. It is, of course, the 16th installment in the mainline series. A game franchise that, once again, at the onset of it, was supposed to be the last game that company ever made. And so this one is sitting in a segmented open world. It's got the active combat system. And the story guiding through here is that of 6 nations, magical crystals, and Instead of there being aeons, as you summon in other previous games, you can tell I'm a Final Fantasy X guy because I use that word. The beasts are actually housed within human hosts, and each nation has one or a couple, and they're keeping track of these to be the representation of their houses. Unfortunately, a blight is put upon one of the nations, and it becomes up to you, the player, to find and fight Ifrit to make right what has happened. Our producer Steve actually got
No.
I have to.
No.
Our producer
hold on.
Steve messaged
What
me.
happened?
Let's see. Where is the message with Steve? It said, and I quote, Sunday at 11:02. I absolutely despise how much fun I'm having with Final Fantasy 16. I said, "Oh, is it good or is it like bad?" And he goes, "The story gripped me. The demo left me wanting more."
Interesting.
Then one day the Fire Nation attacked.
There's one for each nation, and everyone lived in harmony. Everything changed when the Blight attacked. Yeah, it's like, this has been a really big month for like these big long game releases. Like
Absolutely.
There was System Shock at the beginning of the month, which wasn't like a really long one, but like I was seeing someone that was like, yeah, I have to finish System Shock before Diablo 4 comes out, and then I have to finish Diablo 4 before Final Fantasy 16 comes out. You'll see me again in August. So I remember a couple years ago we talked about like me finally getting into playing a little bit of and like experiencing some Final Fantasy. I don't know if I'll get into 16, but it looks like it's really well done.
Yeah.
And you were always getting like the long-term fans of it saying like, oh well, it has this system and it has that and it looks all dark and edgy, whatever. And it's like, I let this one stand on its own, let it do its thing. If it does well, maybe we'll get some more of it. If not, maybe they'll change it again when it's time to do 17. I prefer each one being different and having like different ways that might draw you into it rather than like
the same
there
formula
was
cut and pasted.
Yeah, there was a stretch where it was really formulaic. So
for sure. So that's Final Fantasy 16 or XVI if you're from Roman times. We are then looking forward to 6/23/23 for Windows, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and 5, and Xbox One and Xbox Series X all at the same time. Somehow, it is Sonic Origins Plus. We've already discussed Sonic Origins.
Right.
It's a classic Sonic remake. They had put a whole bunch of love into it. They made some new levels. They redid a lot of animations, and it had a lot of fun with it, and people really liked it. This one is adding 12 Game Gear titles to the Sonic Origins pack. So if it came out for the Game Gear handheld, I don't think there is any worldwide release Sonic game that was on the Game Gear that will now not be available for you to play, not just on your Game Gear anymore. Including Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, the classic that certainly changed franchises. This game also boasts the fact that you'll finally be able to play as Knuckles in Sonic CD. And the big selling point that they're making on the website is adding, for the first time, Amy Rose will be added to Sonic's 1, 2, 3, and Sonic CD. And if that doesn't have you right on the edge of your seat using your credit card to buy it now, they've added extreme missions, a mirror mode, and a large amount of customization options for your presentation and changing up what appearance you have as you play the game. An interesting thing, a good thing to go on. And you know what? Worth the money if you're a fan of Sonic, because this is by far one of the bigger releases of Sonic titles, all self-contained.
Yeah, it's nearly definitive. I feel like the last one that I engaged with that was a collection was like the Sonic Genesis collection, which had other non-Sonic Genesis titles, but it was like for the 360. It was a while ago. This seems like it's done really well, and I may have to grab it because I never got around to grabbing Origins, so I'm sort of glad I waited.
This one looks like it's going to be fun, and it looks like if you're a fan of Sonic lore, not that Sonic lore, but the other kind, the fact that Amy Rose will be included, so the people that are a fan of the television series and the comics and things like that will feel more connected to the mainstay games, as opposed to those folks that, like me, who are old and just played Sonic where it was meant to be, where it was just Sonic. But a lot of fun. The game itself received a lot of positive reviews, and I'm hoping you folks like it just as much as I did. Yeah. And that is the games that are coming out in 7 days that you can have look forward to. If we missed any out, please let us know in the future. And if you have any ideas for game reviews, things like that, always hit us up.
Yeah. So what have you been up to? So I forget if I mentioned a few weeks ago, but I played that Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog game. Okay,
yeah.
Good. So aside from that, what have you been playing, watching?
Diablo 4. I've been playing a lot of Diablo 4. I've been playing as much as I possibly can fit into my time schedule, which goes into my Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, Donan, all goats, all amazing, all fantastic characters. I haven't finished the plot of Diablo 4, but you'll encounter a character very early on, and this is not plot spoilery. His name's Donan. He's amazing. And the game further proves why you like Donan. You feel a little bad for Donan, but you like him, and you should. And so all of us were like, me and Valai throughout the entire time, like, I sat there and read it, and I was like, man, I really like Donan from the first second I met him. And then as you meet the character more and he becomes more fleshed out and things like that, I'm like, man, I really like Donan now. And I'm going to be really mad about it later when he turns out to be a bad guy. And so far, not a bad guy, but we'll see in the coming weeks how mad I get about Donan. But
I know Demon Dragon has finished the game, so no spoilers. I think just like last night she said that she finished the main quest.
Very nice.
So let me specify. She didn't finish the game, she finished the main quest. I'm sure she's still working on side quests.
Demon Dragon agreeing. Donan is the GOAT.
The game has been out for, 2 weeks now, and she just got through it after playing almost every day.
I do have a story about people's longevity in play.
Okay.
By Blizzard mentioned that, but other than that, I had my first ever commission for song playing and singing, and so it's kind of a secret project, but I'm allowed to just talk about the fact that it's due very quick. And so Juneteenth, had off from work, and spent pretty much the whole day practicing a particular song, and recording many different versions of it, some with Savannah sitting on my lap, some with Savannah fighting with the chords, some with me actually playing the instrument correctly and in time, and then singing many different parts for it and things like that. And it was a lot of fun, and I'm very excited for it, just because for me it was a reconnecting to the old performing arts things I did pre-doing streaming, where, key was important, and pitch, and this and that, and singing in time with the song, and doing all these other things, instead of what I do now, which is where I kind of play on my own and make my own rules and things like that. So it's a lot of fun. It's not a for public project, but I'm really looking forward to, I've gotten final notes, and so I'm going to hash that out in the next 72 hours. And then, all that on top of, recently have been very busy with some IRL things off of stream. My coworker retired after 30-something years. Babette, congratulations and much love to you. But then I didn't stream Friday because did not have time. I was at a dinner. But I will say, someone at that party mentioned, they go, "Oh, I can't believe they have Bud Light at the bar." So guess what I drank almost exclusively for the rest of the evening? That's right, Bud Light. Get on my level. It was so much fun. I had a great time. My one coworker realized what I was doing. She goes, they just had to say something. I'm like, they did have to say something. What the great taste of Bud Light. Delicious. In fact, just for the bit.
Just for the bit.
Oh my God, we have
For the moment, hearkening back to some Mario Kart teaming up with Steve, but it was well worth it. It was awesome and a lot of fun. Last week we went to go play with your food. Myself and Steve cosplayed. I cosplayed in public for the first time. That wasn't at work. And Steve cosplayed as Steven Universe, and I played a particular character that I'm not going to talk anymore about, because if you didn't see the pictures, you don't know, and that's fine, because it would break what I do here on stream if I acknowledged it. So, it was a lot of fun. It was really cool to support Ashley. They're actually going to be doing another one next month on the 9th. That's a Saturday, and it's at 1, which is smack dabberoo in the middle of my shift, but I will try to at least support in any way I can, and going forward with that. Looking forward, this coming weekend here in the Wilton Mall is the Saratoga Silver Ball Pinball Convention. Lonnie has once again fired up some amazing machines, and for some reason he's letting me help him with it. And I'm really looking forward to that Thursday night, helping him get machines loaded in, get stuff ready. And then Friday, after I finish up my last day at of the school year, I will be coming back here to the mall to work, so there'll be no stream on Friday as well. But I did hear say, and I claimed it on Sunday, but I'm saying it again here, so everyone knows, there is going to be a Godzilla pinball table. Don't worry, you can't play it. I'm going to be playing it the whole time it's there, so don't even worry about it. You can watch me play and hear me giggle like a small schoolgirl the entire time while doing it. But Saratoga Silver Ball right here, and it's actually going to be right next to Insane Games. Ooh. At where the former Express. So definitely come check it out. Come support Lonnie, and make me have to move pinball tables, because that's really what I want to do.
Is it an all day? Is there certain hours?
So it is. You know what? I'll pull up the information. Amp, if you could drop a link to it in chat. And no, Dave, it's not my channel. I'm not doing this. I would really appreciate it. I want to know
where I can go and watch Dave play the Godzilla table all day.
So I'm gonna be coming in. It's Friday and Saturday. I'm gonna be coming Friday after 3:00, but the show itself is going to be Friday, June 23rd, 11 a.m. to 9, both days.
Nice.
Friday, June 23rd, 11 a.m. to 9, 9 a.m. vendor and game setup, 11 a.m. is general admission. And then at 6:30, they're doing a 3 strikes tourney. What is that? You'll have to come ask Lonnie about, find out. But it is all skill levels welcome. And then Saturday is going to be 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. And at 12, Pin Golf Tournament is going to begin. Now, that one I do know. Pin Golf is very simple. You get a certain score on the pinball table while not draining a certain amount of balls.
Okay.
Or like, you know, how quickly you drain all the balls, just to amuse Steve. But that is what I've been up to. That is what I've been watching. Mike Batista, Tom Brady, Jeff Gordon, Donan, Goats them all. Thank you, Love Alec, for the link. You should all go check it out. Saratoga Silver Ball.
For my part, not nearly as involved as that. I mentioned last week that I finished playing System Shock. I started reading Free Radical, which was that fanfic novel. This past week, I finished reading Free Radical, and I started playing System Shock again.
Very nice.
Also finally picked up my Mass Effect Andromeda save that's been sitting there for over a month. So just not really anything new. Just I enjoyed System Shock so much, I almost immediately dove right back in, which I really don't do. So more testimonial to how much I'm enjoying that game.
Very nice.
That's what I got. That's what I've been up to. I definitely want to stop by Silver Ball and say hi and see how you're doing at Godzilla and try out a few tables myself. So
and support the lawn man himself.
Absolutely. It was a lot of fun last year when Steph and I went, and I definitely want to stop by this year.
So normally, this is when Boder and I would say, oh, the timer's up for the voting, this and that and the other. This week, I saw something in the store, and I decided, instead of just putting it in the mystery box...
Was this during your milk run?
No, this was pre-pilk run.
Okay.
I saw in the cabinet more Coca-Cola creations. This one is called Ultimate Limited Edition, and it's got a League of Legends. It's called Plus XP flavored.
All right, bring me the milk.
Don't pilk this, Steve.
Milk it.
You're gonna pilk it.
Coke. It's not Pepsi.
I've already had it. I'm gonna milk it.
You're.
Steve already had this
Terrible.
apparently.
Oh, we got. Thank you.
So it's Coca-Cola Ultimate Limited Edition League of Legends. It's XP flavored. I have liked
taste like.
no. I have liked absolutely none of the Coca-Cola creation flavors so far, and I don't have high hopes for this one.
You, me.
Why not both of us?
Okay.
Since he's not here.
Long or short?
Either or, it doesn't matter.
Well, I'll do long.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. I didn't take enough of a breath. Oh boy, I did not take enough of a breath before that one. All right.
I'm a level 38 tank wizard.
Thank you, Amp, for the Steve redemption.
There's a code under the cap. Do you want to take this home to Demon Dragon to see if this will,
Sure.
if these caps will potentially give Demon Dragon experience to their oh, it's so salty. Oh.
It's very frothy. Holy shit.
It makes me just want to scream at people to get good.
I mean, it does taste a little different than normal Coke, but I can't really put my finger on how.
It's like a bubblegummy.
Pass. Hard pass. Ugh.
Well, Steve had it straight. Now he's gonna pilk it.
It's
not bad.
It's terrible. That is awful. I'm getting mad at it. This is what the League of Legends Coke wanted. This is what you wanted. Coca-Cola, you know what you need to do? You need to queue up with a different group and get good, okay, friend, if you're going to come back here. But for now, you can go sit over there in a different queue.
Careful, lol-flavored Coke is probably toxic or very salty.
All of the Coca-Cola creation flavors taste almost the same.
They're all terrible. They're all. I've hated all of them. Like,
They probably are exactly the same thing, just with different labels.
like.
I don't need to take this home to Steph. I will just take a picture and send it to her. That way you can still cap those so they're not just sitting uncapped.
Ugh.
Because I know how much you want to keep drinking them.
Although I might keep the bottle.
It's a decent bottle.
The logo itself is pretty cool. Like, it's got the LOL flare.
Yep.
To it. It's got the League of Legends stamp, so you'll definitely not be able, like, in 3 years to forget what promotion it was for.
Yeah. What is... I remember when Episode 1 first came out, when Star Wars Episode 1 came out, and they had all the themed, like, the Pepsi cans and stuff with those.
Yeah.
I... Like, 1999, 13-year-old me was like, I'm gonna collect these, but I had, like, nowhere to put the empty cans to keep them safe, so eventually that just ended up getting, like, recycled. But, like, I really liked those cans. I think that's probably my favorite soft drink tie-in was the Star Wars Episode 1 Pepsi cans.
I have a car of it on the set if you want to display that.
I'll ne'er forget the Halo Mountain Dew.
Okay.
For me, that one's what?
Game Fuel's coming back.
Don't tell me that.
At the end of the year.
No, because they're going to bring it back, but it's going to be bad, and I don't want that.
Two
I want
flavors.
the memory.
Still bad.
I want the memories. I have a Britney Spears Pepsi can. Hell yes, you keep
There
that.
you go.
Oh, Demon Dragon wanting to know what the Dan doing. Let me pull up and message Dan. Dan, chat wants to know what you're up to. Again,
Diablo flavored.
he is 100%. Well, no, the Diablo licensed out a more appropriate license for Diablo. It's KFC, and the Double Down sandwiches were the original promotional thing, and now it's just the chicken sandwiches are.
Wait, really?
And now it's going to be on Mountain Dew. One of the games.
No! Although that makes sense because that's a game I can just sit for hours and play. All right, fair.
Yeah.
Oh, somehow Pilk. Can I interest you in an Oreo?
Always. Thank you.
Actually, it's 8:30. Dan might be asleep. I'm not counting him as ignoring it, if it always says delivered and doesn't say read. Like,
Nicholas's opinion request if it wasn't talked about last week.
huh?
I assume you want to ask our opinion on something. I'm not sure, but you can certainly ask.
Fire away.
I didn't know we do opinion requests, but anything goes right now.
We encourage you to bring your topics with us.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not you don't request your opinion. You say, "What do you think about blank? Let's talk about this."
Oh, yeah.
Let's go, because you're watching.
Crazy Billionaire had a submarine made and is now missing. Is this related to the one that went missing on Sunday that, as far as I know, is still missing?
I have no idea what we're talking about. So maybe
So there was an expedition that went missing on Sunday. That I don't think it was like crazy billionaire guy custom built a submarine. From what I know, I think it's like a licensed tour of the wreckage of the Titanic. This is current events. This is the submarine went missing on Sunday. Has 4 days of life support on it, so it's like a big search that's out there right now. Tangentially related to gaming because the steering controls for this little touristy submarine are like an old Logitech game controller.
We had one of those controllers. Maybe it's the one we had.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh no! Really hope it wasn't the Logitech controller we had. But they do have a 30-day in-house guarantee, so if they bought it this month, they can bring it back. Dan, by the way, returning a walking ash. I'm going to send him
Yay.
A heart and a peace sign and some sunglasses.
Yeah, I don't think it was a one-off. Again, I don't know too much about the topic. I don't really want to speculate, especially because this is still in kind of like a missing persons kind of thing.
So they reported a 21-foot submersible from the Canadian research vessel Polar Prince was launched. The 5-person crew submerged Sunday morning, and the crew of the Polar Prince lost contact with them approximately an hour and 45 minutes into the vessel's dive. So they are still searching because now at this point they are getting close to where they would be out of
the basics.
The basics, air and those things as needed. Search is underway. Multiple countries, navies are getting involved. And I really hope those folks come up, and I hope that this doesn't become a example of this is why you don't do commercial bop-a-da-bop-a-doo.
Yeah.
Although I will point out facetiously in that, did we not watch Jurassic Park? Did we not see what happens when we do the thing? But here's hoping the fact that
prehistoric shipwrecks wandering the earth.
The submarine has probably a technical malfunction, and they are, of course, going to just find it laying on the bottom of the ocean, and everyone's going to be very oxygen deprived and sick, but they will be fine in the end. That's what I'm hoping for. Why a 7-night trip?
Why a gaming controller? Whose idea was this? I don't know too much about it is kind of like the control scheme was just supposed to be really basic.
I have a feeling it's literally just, hey, we know what we can code, we know what we want, and we know what will work with the thing. And instead of spending $100,000 on digital helmsmanship and this, that, and the other, why not Like, and
you,
if this
you go with what's dependable, like
Yeah.
dependable old tech, sure, maybe they could have used an Xbox One controller, but it's hard to find a wired one that, has the kind of rugged reliability you need out of this kind of thing. Meanwhile, a beat to crap old Logitech controller is still going to work. So
it'll be interesting to see what winds up being the whole reason for this schmaz, be it weather patterns, be it the Bermuda Triangle, be it whatever it will be. We will certainly have answers for this. And Love Alec, if you can keep an eye on that and keep us abreast in the Nerd Glasses topics and Discord, that would be amazing as things develop. God.
let's see. From that, let's move on to something that a news topic that should make one of our common co-hosts a little happier. Hopefully. Last year, for the Nerdies, one of the nominees for the worst game of the year was Chocobo GP. And one of the reasons for that, was really aggressive monetization. Battle passes, premium currency.
Incredibly aggressive.
So much. Like, there was a full price version of the game, but there was also a free to play version of the game. And the full price version of the game didn't just get you everything, there was still monetization on top of that. Well, earlier this year, Square Enix, Nintendo, unpublished Chocobo GP Lite, which was the free to play version. And it has surfaced now that within the past week, they republished the base game, the $39.99 full game, and reworked it to get rid of all monetization, all post-purchase monetization. Probably because it's like, wow, this game basically died, and we're seeing no return on investment. So let's see if we can get a little bit of goodwill. Release the game as it is. Nothing's behind battle passes. You can get your Cloud Strife skin without spending, without buying premium currency. I like that. So I mean, again, I never got around to playing Chocobo GP, so as far as its like actual racing mechanics and such go, it might still be garbage. I don't know. But I like the idea of, this game isn't like making us that drip feed of microtransaction money anymore. Let's change a couple things around so that you don't need the microtransactions as long as we're not making money off of it, and maybe we'll get more people buying and playing the game in full.
Which is a rare thing for a lot of companies, to not just turn the lights off, make it unavailable for purchase on the store and unusable. For those people that did buy it and did pay for all those things, obviously the premium currency is worth nothing, and you can't connect to that version of the game. But if you go on the Nintendo eShop and you click on that game, it will recognize that you had the game previously and will then give you the game for free. Mm-hmm.
Or if you had the free-to-play version, if you buy the new version, your game saves and such will import into the full version. So,
in regards, it's a golf clap, because it's like way to kind of stick the land, I guess, on a franchise.
They announced well enough ahead of time that the premium currency was going to stop being sold and would ultimately be worthless, so you had plenty of time to buy what you wanted to buy the currency you wanted to, and then to buy what you wanted to with the currency. So you shouldn't really be left with unused currency, fortunately. This is kind of the next step. And I really hope this does well. I hope that they see an uptick in sales, because it might convince other publishers to do the same with their less loved games.
Hopefully.
We'll see. What else we got?
Well, speaking of things that pooped out, Twitch announced a 70-30 revenue split for its partners, which everybody wanted, until people read the finer print, which is that, by the way, one of the bigger points to get a partner is you have to have an average of 75 viewers in the span of months and things like that. Very easy for many people, very hard for the people. They also had that you have to have 350 recurring paid subscriptions. And if you did that 3 months consecutively, you would be eligible for 12 months enrolled in the 70-30 revenue split.
As opposed to currently is 50-50, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But what people realized when they say specifically recurring paid subscriptions, that means to get 350 of them, that 350 don't include Twitch Prime subscriptions, because those are not recurring, and they don't include gifted subs. You
Also
have to
not
get
recurring,
350 people to say, I'm going to add a recurring subscription to your account, and this, that, and the other. Now, not a hard thing, again, for the upper echelon of people, but it is a prohibitive thing, and it is something that a lot of people then immediately pointed to, well, so I'm supposed to tell my community, don't gift a bunch of subs, and this and that and the other. And for me, it was kind of like, no, you still tell them to gift subs, but one of the subs, save it aside and give it on yourself and recur. It's the same cost. So for me, it's a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction. And someone did the math. The new program will only affect about 1,000 partnered streamers, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Because again, for my money, for my 7 years on this platform, if we make everything accessible to everybody, why should I bother to try to get partner? If I get 70-30 split as affiliate, why would I care about getting partner? Things like that. I mean, I would care, and I do. It matters a lot to me. But in those so many ways of people that are trying to make this into a job, if you can get a 70-30 split easily reaching, why would you reach up then? You just reach cross continually. I like that people are addressing Twitch at Twitch when they're doing these changes and things like that. And that's why we're seeing a lot more of the quick turnarounds on, like, hey, we're doing this, we're not doing this anymore. Hey, we're introducing this, we're not introducing this. Hey, we're doing this. Hey, this isn't really working out, let's try a different thing. Hey, you're doxing a bunch of trans streamers. Fuck you. And because people are actually communicating, we're seeing a lot of changes. We're seeing a lot of calling out of these companies, and we're not letting them kind of sit on it. But at the same point, check your privilege, people. You sound a little weird when you're like, what about my 10,000 subscribers? Like, yes, you have 10,000 subs. Great. Like, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, so as much as I hate to drag them kicking and screaming back into the show, 70-30 is one of the allures of Kick. I think YouTube also does a 70-30 revenue split. I could be wrong on that one. Please let me know if I am. And so I do feel like 70-30 should be, is something that Twitch should make more available. And it stinks that it's affecting the people who are already at the top to let them keep more of that and not, it's not just any partner, it's those that are way up there.
Yeah.
And it's also, like, I think only the first 100,000 that you make per year, and then after that it goes back to 50-50. It's weird and kind of feels like a pilot program, but it's Twitch. It's poorly communicated, if that is the case. And I don't know, like, I do somewhat disagree with your why would people reach up. I think that there's, even if 70-30 were more widely available, I think there's still plenty of incentive for that. But it's let's see. I thought Kick was 95.5, YouTube was 70-30. That's right. Kick is 95.5 because they have all the money coming from their unsavory backers.
Gross.
Yes, YouTube is 70-30, and YouTube is probably Twitch's main competitor as far as internationally goes, even though Kick is trying to establish itself really strong in North America.
By doing a mixer.
Yeah, so
let's give all these people really lots of money, and this certainly
then,
ship
no, we
won't.
don't have money anymore. Where did it all go?
This certainly won't blow up in our faces at any point. Kick is just money laundering, and they'll be able to do that for a very, very, very long time.
They'll be able to do it till they get sick of it. Then all the streamers will be like, "Where did my platform go?" And Twitch will be like, "Look what the cat dragged in. Look what's coming on back. I don't know why I'm using an Irish accent for this, but look what's coming back in the rain."
No, I really hope what ends up happening to Kick is what happened to Mixer, where one day Mark Zuckerberg takes off the Oculus headset and goes, "I'm done playing with this," and looks over and goes, "A streaming platform! Give them a check!" and buys them out, and then all those people that are on the platform then have to decide if you're going to Facebook Gaming, which apparently nobody goes to Facebook Gaming.
I haven't heard of Facebook Gaming in a while now.
Like, it's still there. It still exists.
Yeah, I have a friend that went to it a few years ago. I don't think she really streams anymore, but like I haven't really heard anything about it, really.
If you stream on Facebook Gaming, just like you people that do cloud gaming, tell us about your experience, please. Because we would love to... that is still a thing. It really is. Although, thanks to the fact that I use Facebook for mobile, finding anything on Facebook on mobile is impossible. So, thank you for showing me VinWiki videos, by the way. I do appreciate that.
It's like I want Kick to fail because of where it's coming from, how it's
you don't even have to rationalize it. We want Kick to fail here on the Nerd Glasses podcast.
But I want Twitch to have competition because Twitch is the best platform to be on when it comes to interacting with other channels, having a nice strong ecosystem with chat and everything like that. But it is the worst one to be on as far as it being communicative and fairly paying creators. And so I want something to come along that has that good like community management and networking and stuff like that can actually compete with Twitch as a streamer rather than just as a thinly veiled money laundering scheme. We'll see. Mixer was the last best chance we had at it. Maybe we'll get another one later this decade. Who knows?
Speaking of the exact inverse of all of these situations, Summer's Games Fests happens, kids. Your Pokemon cards and your Nikon phones, all these things. Summer Games Fest came and went, and our friend Jeff Keighley had just a time of his life.
Oh boy!
And it was wonderful. Jeff Keighley also got called out for something, and I really like how he handled it, and I really like how the people communicated. They went to him after Summer Games Fest, and they said, Jeff, there were 0 female presenters on stage during the show proper. And Jeff Keighley responded, and he said, that's a fair flag to raise. He said, we did have the This Is Us actress and one of the featured performers in Alan Wake 2. She was supposed to come on, and unfortunately, due to travel, she had to cancel and things like that. But he said, we're conscientious of those things. We're trying not to, fake, having people on just to fill quotas and look, it's our person of color to fill that quota, and it's our female, it's our, this group and that group and this group.
Yeah.
But he did say, he goes, you are right. We did not have any females, and that's something we're going to make sure that we, address in the future so that we don't just have one or just have this or just have that. And I like the fact that he didn't immediately just go, nuh-uh! Well, we're not defense mode and try to push the responsibility off. And I mean, not for nothing, but there was about 1 million presentations that weekend. But it's fair that it wasn't on the Summer Games Fest proper. For someone who watched it, it's also because all the game companies did their own presentations individually. It wasn't just Jeff Keighley being like, and by the way, here's now this in my words. And now live is, this company talking about their things and having their studio and their presentations on. So it was like a fair criticism, but I really like how Jeff Keighley responded, and it made me really happy that he's friends with Hideo Kojima, by the way, in case you all didn't know that.
Yeah, I really like that response, because he could have very easily said, ask the companies that presented, ask why, and I don't know who presented it. Summer Game Fest, you watched, I did not, but he could have said this company, this publisher, ask all them. No, he said you're right. It was our show, and that is a fair flag to raise, as he said. And that's something that he can talk about with the presenters. It is ultimately up to them, but also as the face of it, that did feel like a good response.
I was like, way to go, Jeff. Way to go. Except that, where were the Jordans this year? What happened, Jeff? What happened to the Jordans? You had the thin suit on, you had the t-shirt under the thing, and you were wearing proper dress shoes for once.
Ugh, gross.
I know. It was weird. I had nothing to yell about the entire time he was on stage. Every time he appeared, I didn't get to do one of those. It was fun, and I miss it. Game Awards. I'll probably do it again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you gotta keep it for the right event.
our good friend Henry Cavill, friend of the program, appeared in his last official Geralt of Rivia capacity before season 3 of The Witcher comes out on June 29th. But he appeared with his co-stars and talked about his exit from The Witcher. Go check that out. Way more articulate than I ever will be.
Okay.
But I really liked that the main point that he made was he really respected his co-stars because they kept the characters that they represented from getting oversimplified. They also spent a lot of time talking about how season 3, if you haven't read the books, is going to be very interesting. And me can't wait for that.
Nice.
Because I also haven't had time to read the books.
I know my dad's working through them right now. He was in town, and I saw him digging into like third or fourth book.
It was very interesting. Henry Cavill, for those of you who haven't kept up, was Geralt of Rivia and Superman. Yep. And unfortunately, due to commitments for Superman and WB Pictures, had to resign from his station as Geralt of Rivia. And then, much like what they do with the DC Universe, they decided to throw everything out, and they're not making Henry Cavill Superman movies anymore. They're not making Batflick movies anymore. They're not making Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman anymore. And so now Henry Cavill went from all the jobs to all the free time to continue to build 40K models. Please keep building 40K models. Please keep representing 40K in a popular media.
Didn't he say something about doing like a 40K show with Amazon?
Yes,
Okay.
he is. We talked about that a couple weeks
Okay.
ago, and
Yeah,
me like it.
because like I feel so like it sucks honestly for The Witcher and for that whatever that like WB was like, here's a bunch of money to be Superman, and he's like, that's a bunch of money, all right, I'll take it. We don't want you to be Superman anymore, but I already told that. Well, maybe I can. Hemsworth. Oh no.
I do also like that they did talk to the audience, and they were like, listen, you're going to like Liam. Mm-hmm. In whatever capacity he takes over, in whatever he does, things like that. And I kind of like that the people on stage were kind of like, by the way, we see what you're saying on the internet. Could you give it a shot? Because the show wouldn't have happened if people didn't give it a shot. Like, let's maybe see if we can keep a good thing going, considering a situation that was under a lot of... Is he at least able to keep the Superman money? I tried looking into that, and there wasn't a whole lot of it. I have every feeling there would have been a really high-level lawsuit going on with a lot of people.
I assume that he at least got a deposit.
There was probably a guarantee. Knowing contracts, especially of those where it's like, you're going to do 6 films, and if we decide not to option the films, we decide to do this, here's the money you're going to get just for showing up.
Yeah.
Just for being signed on, just for signing this contract, here's the money that happens no matter what.
He probably negotiated this is what I would have made on Witcher Season 4, pay me that up front before I leave the production.
40K models, they're expensive.
All of this is speculation, mind, but Henry Cavill will be fine.
Again, let's think about what Henry Cavill's like recent public presentations were. Building high-end gaming PCs and playing 40K. That man is broke as shit, okay? He has no money. There's no way that man didn't just build like 1.5 million gaming PCs and then also just go to a Warhammer shop and just be like, I'll take it! And they were like, what? And he just goes, get out of my store! I'm Superman, damn it! And slammed the door. All the employers were like, I think we won our sales quota. Henry Cavill wants to 40K of the... all 40K. I want all 40K models, and I want them in 40K gold. What's that, Mr. Cavill?
Gold Cup's out at 24K. I don't care. Make it happen.
We stopped making the models out of metal because they stopped being profitable for us to make. You're going to turn those factors I've got into making them out of gold!
Most nerds will build a gaming PC and then collect a bunch of models. Henry Cavill built a model and collected a whole bunch of gaming PCs. I all of a sudden like the image of just him showing up to some wargaming thing and dropping like this thing with an Acer case and this other one with a thermal tape.
So, by the way, yes, we did find out what the Dan doing. He is walking Ash. He was walking Ash
As
20
half an hour
minutes ago.
Yeah.
He's probably still walking Ash. I won't tell you where, but just as a heads up, sometimes he's places where you might be able to see him, like at the Wilton Mall.
Do you mean Dan or Ash?
Both. Both of them. And sometimes
Just
both
Dan
of them
is a
together.
cryptid of like you might be able to spot him, but careful, your camera goes all blurry when he shows up.
No, that's usually Steve when there's no one in the store. It's like, didn't you say Steve was working? Hello there. Ah! Where did you come from,
Yeah,
Steve?
like when he came in the side of the frame twice so far this show. So far. We don't have any more of those planned, but anything can happen in the next, I don't know how long this show's going to go.
So Dan is still 100 for 100 on answering the What the Dan Doing
Good.
requests.
Good. Is it SCP of Wilton Mall?
No. We have an
Oh,
SCP here in the
no.
Wilton Mall. We already have one. And now we have to tangentially talk about the legend of Gilbert. Gilbert is a gentleman that yonder time and ago worked at a place that occupied a space here in the mall. They whispered murmurs, certain places where you could buy footwear for athletic prowess, and they would have Jordans aplenty. It was called Foot Locker. And it occupied a space here in the Wilton Mall. So they say. And then, upon those times, the Gilbert did work at the Foot Locker. The Gilbert showed up late to all his shifts. The Gilbert would often be picking his nose in a very public and glass-focused.
Trying to make atmospheric sounds. I can't. I'm laughing.
The Gilbert was then, of course, dismissed. But you can't kill the Gilbert merely by firing him. No. The Gilbert then found him a job at another place in the mall called Pixie Sticks. Ooh. Rumors say that it was a coffee shop here in the Wilton Mall many eons ago. Ooh. And he did, once again, they hired the Gilbert because he is very good for customer morale. He is a very good person. But he once again showed up really late all the time. Ooh. And he showed up sometimes baked to work. Ooh. And he did all sorts of things that you don't want your employees doing their shift. Ooh. And you would think, after being fired from 2 places in the mall, that the Gilbert would be done. But no. Whip crack went the whippy tail.
Nay!
And the Gilbert was hired once again at the Zoomies. And he
That makes
fit
sense.
in very well at the Zoomies staff because the Gilbert skateboarded, or so they say. I can actually I can claim that once I saw the Gilbert riding a skateboard through the mall with security yelling after him, but he had headphones in, and so he didn't hear them until he stopped at his job. Ooh. But the legend of the Gilbert does not stop when he was fired from Zoomies. No! The legend of the Gilbert continued when one day our mall cryptid returned. He returned at a cell phone store here in the Wilton Mall himself. And that is truly when I realized that he was in fact a mall cryptid. Because after all these pink slips and after all this moving around and after leaving the state and coming back, the Gilbert was nigh undefeatable. The Gilbert was whispered upon the walls. And the Gilbert, too, was fired from the cell phone store for showing up late to his shifts, for not generally doing his job sometimes. Oh?
3, 4, 3. That's fired.
The Gilbert was not fired! Ooh! We have recollection.
The
we have
legend
further
continues!
further hearsay on the legend of the Gilbert. What say ye, red maids?
Moved out of state again.
Ah! Ooh! The Gilbert is really gathering his powers. Moved out of state and coming back. I can say that the Gilbert also had interactions here on Insane Games, because the Gilbert, when he saw that I had a skateboard, and one day upon myself, Mike, and Dan playing with the skateboard, the Gilbert was drawn to it, like some sort of calling. The Gilbert breezed into the store in a haze that could only be described as Snoop Doggish or purple in hue, if you get my meaning. Jimi Hendrix. Okay, here we are. And he came just as quickly through barricades as if he ignored them, as if they weren't for him. No. And the Gilbert came and he said, "Bro, can I shred on that?" And I said, "Of course, Fearing for my life for the mall cryptid, I said, "Of course, sir." And shred he did. And there is some pictures and videos of him doing sweet, nasty kickflips here on the marble floor on my skateboard. I have one more mall cryptid story about the Gilbert, and it was the first time I did a stand-up show here in the mall. Fun was had, people are gathered, and we all had a great time. But then the Gilbert were summoned because the gate were open after hours. And after everyone had left, the Gilbert blew in a guitar solo that could only be shredded by someone by the last name of Lennon. He shredded in like so many ounces, but he appeared in the studio once again behind me as I was sweeping and said, "What are we doing, bro?" And I went, "Hello, Gilbert." I said, "Gilbert, we did a stand-up comedy show." And he went, "Sweet!" And he sat down, expecting that I would redo the entire 1.5 to 2 hour show right then and there. You do remember it, Steve. You were there. You had a close encounter with the Gilbert. So we now know the truth, that the Gilbert was not fired from the cell phone store, but the Gilbert merely left the mall to gather more power, and perhaps he'll return at the Casual Girl, at Hempire, here in the Wilton Mall. Perhaps he'll return to the Verizon. Perhaps he'll come up working at the newsstand. You never know where the Gilbert will return.
One day he will return hawking the storied wares of Squishmallows to the masses.
They say he's merely training in another state to sell to the customers and patronage that come here in the Wilton Mall. He'll return like so many Goku and so many Story Arc. By the way, Gilbert is a really great guy. I have nothing but love for him, and actually, so Dan was the one who introduced me to him. Dan had a soft spot in his heart for the Gilbert, because he too saw a hapless lost man in the universe twisting in the wind. He's not.
Yeah.
The Gilbert progeny. Oh, but I have nothing but love for the Gilbert. And he was a great guy. He was always a lot of fun to have come around the mall because he would just kind of wisp around at things.
He did not experience life in a linear fashion. He simply appeared where needed most.
But again, like the fact that man was released or left the state so many times and kept coming back and kept reappearing, he is the mall SCP. Because no matter how many times he kind of knows himself into and out of a job. Oh my God, I'm crying. Hold on. I don't want my nose.
But that's kind of a standard New Yorker behavior, leaving the state and ending up back in the state.
It is. It really is. I don't want to live in New York State anymore. 2 months later, I can't live in Massachusetts. It's awful. I hate it there. God, there are so many stories, and we are just flat out of time.
Yeah.
Wherever a skateboard that needed a kickflip, Gilbert will be there. Yes.
I think that's a really good note to end on tonight.
But much love to everybody. By the way, keep not finishing the Diablo 4 campaign. They're not mad about that. They really aren't. That's what Blizzard said in the interviews. But I just have to say that. Also, Donan, the GOAT. That's all from me.
Yeah. So as we mentioned at the top of the show, next week's Nerd Glasses will be the final Nerd Glasses in this current form. We're gonna do something for it. We're gonna get all nostalgic and such like that. In this next week, please tell us what some of your favorite moments have been. Tell us your favorite parts about what we've done. It's been 3.5 years that this has been going. We've gotten a lot of lore on this show. And I'm really looking forward to that next week. So that is next week right here at Insane Games TV _ the Nerd Glasses Podcast 745, and we hope to see you there for that very special episode. Dave, where can people find you this week?
You can find me tomorrow on the weekend Wednesday here on Insane Games TV. Going to be playing some more Diablo 4 on the summer solstice. Here's hoping we don't summon Lilith for some reason, because I have a feeling that's a part of her plot. But with all that, by the way, next week, I'm just saying it out loud, Weekend Wednesday stand-up comedy show, open to the public. Just saying, so write that down on your calendars. But yeah.
And find me this upcoming Thursday at twitch.tv/voterbug playing Boyfriend Dungeon. So, and of course, make sure that you're following right here for a ton of awesome creators as we keep on looking at new and fun things that we can keep doing with Insane Games TV right here, twitch.tv/InsaneGamesTV_. Join the Discord. Table Topics is where we drop a bunch of stuff that we didn't get the chance to get to. And just kind of hang out with us. Let us know how we've been doing on this show. Let us know stuff and hang out with the rest of the people as well. In the meantime, folks, thank you so much for watching. I've been Boater.
I've been Dave Mann.
That's been Steve. And that's been our live studio audience. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!